All right, I think we can go ahead and kick it off. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I really appreciate you for taking the time out of your day, for both signing up and then for also taking the time out of your day to join us during your what is probably your lunch hour. My name is Caleb Talley, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Events for the Startup Junkie Foundation. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Startup Junkie, we're a mission-driven organization that exists to empower innovators and entrepreneurs through education, inspiration, and support with no-cost consulting, events, workshops, and programs, just like this one here today. During normal times, those events are, of course, in-person networking events, workshops, educational events, lunch and learns, but we are virtual. And we're so glad to have every one of you virtually here with us today. And we are also excited to partner today with Brittnie Simon of Collab Design Company. Brittnie Simon is the founder and creative strategist at Collab Design, located in Northwest Arkansas. She graduated from the University of Arkansas with degrees in advertising, public relations, and visual design. She's passionate about what she does, and she's going to share that passion with us here today during this webinar and tell you a little bit more about what she's got going on at Collab. So without further ado, Brittnie, I will turn it over to you.
Thanks, Caleb. Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay. I see someone said, could you increase the volume? I'll try to speak up just a little. As Caleb mentioned, I have put together a presentation that really focuses on the importance behind brand development and why it's really a smart move to outsource that to a creative agency. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as we move through. Feel free to post questions in the chat box, and I will try to answer them at the end of the presentation as we go through. Okay, so my company's name is Collab Design. Some of the things that we're going to talk about today is who I am, why branding is essential, why outsourcing is smart, and then I'll open the floor to questions. So who am I? As Caleb mentioned, I am a founder and creative strategist at Collab Design. I graduated at the U of A, and I have successfully managed coordinated graphic design projects from concept to completion. I've engaged with many large and small businesses to reach their business needs and marketing initiatives, and I've had the opportunity to collaborate with CPG brands, startups, and small local mom and pop businesses and kind of refine my passion, which is definitely on the brand development side. And that's why I really find it important to talk about with startups, because it's a key part of the business that they don't consider right away. Now, branding is key. If you look at the track record of startups, for every 5 startup that is still around, there are more than double that have failed due to lack of branding. They started with a really great idea. They spent the time, even the months to even years, perfecting their idea, their product, their service, and then didn't really promo it as they were doing that build. And by the time they actually started promoting it, it was too late. Their key market had moved on or found somebody to solve the gap already. So when you're looking at branding, what it does, it creates visibility. Visibility creates opportunity. That opportunity allows you for potential for greater commercial success, and it's a way to engage with your audience as you're building your brand and building your existence as a company. Branding, the first benefit of it, it allows you to establish a unique company identity. This, first of all, creates differentiation between you and your competitors. It also is more than just a logo. On the screen, you're seeing a logo, but what this can also do as you move forward is it's your entire personality. It's going to be how you begin to introduce your company to your prospective clients, to your investors. It's going to show how you express who you are and what you stand for. Good branding can also highlight your unique selling points so that your customers know about what problem you're solving. Also, early branding can help you stay in business longer. You're probably like, how, why, like, I thought good products do that. That's true, But when you're focusing on your company's branding from the get-go, it enables you to build a lasting impression with your audience. According to Small Biz Genius, it takes 5 to 7 times to leave an impression on a potential customer. And that means that you have to be promoting your brand pretty regularly for your brand to stay in the forefront of that audience that you're trying to reach. And then by maintaining that consistency through all of your communication, your customer is going to be able to recognize who you are. And by doing that, by having consistency across your website, through your promotional materials, your social media, you can increase your revenue. According to Forbes, you can increase your revenue by 23%. The reason why you're able to increase your revenue and the longevity of your company is because your company begins to be seen as reliable, as secure, and as worthy of customer support. And as we know, customer support, customer loyalty is the key to continuing on through a business. Also, with customer support, your company is probably more likely to receive the funds from investors because they see the viability of your company. With those funds, you are then able to continue to face those hurdles that you're going to as a startup because you're backed up with both customers and investors. Then brand development can also lead to customer relationships and loyalty. As I mentioned previously, you're starting to gain support with your customers. Think about a shoe company. Nike is a great example of this. Once you've found a Nike shoe you like, it's pretty common that a customer is going to buy a shoe over and over and over again. That's why you have shoe collectors that are very, very avid about their brand that they choose to buy. This is because the company, Nike, has created a sense of trust with their consumers that started from the very beginning and has only grown as they have grown. But it wouldn't have been as successful without the initial focus on kind of creating that loyalty and relationship with their consumers. Yes. So, sorry, I lost my train of thought. The next part is visibility. There's nothing more critical, as I mentioned at the beginning, to your startup than visibility. Visibility is going to bring opportunities. Branding brings your company forward and helps people begin to recognize it. Think about the supermarket, and as you're walking through the aisles, what are things that you remember? How did you hear about those products? And how they appealed to you. It's not always a luxury brand that you're thinking about. You can think about Great Value. Great Value has done a good job of building a brand that appeals to a lower target market. So if you actually had a lower target market and your brand looked too luxury, it would look out of that audience's cost of living, and you might actually be hurting your business in the long run because you weren't gearing towards your customers. It's important to understand and establish those key points for your business as you are starting and as you move forward, and to reflect on them so that you can keep that consistency that I mentioned that garners that longer business and customer relationship and loyalty. And lastly, the brand allows you to become memorable and can drive your sales to new heights. Imagine that you are in Walgreens and you are you sprained your ankle and you need a product. You're going to the most, or that you've seen the most, that you've walked by that grabbed your attention. You are in a place where you're competing with a lot of people, so you need to have a message that is consistent in all areas. The right branding can help you get noticed to your customers, and even when things are crowded. When you want to make people remember you during their experience, you need to put effort into building your brand and putting that message out there from the very beginning. Now, that was a lot of information, and I saw a lot of people came in as I was going. So what you missed was just the highlights was establishing your unique identity. Early branding can increase your longevity as a business. It can develop relationships with your customers and increase loyalty. It can increase your visibility, and it can make you memorable so that you can drive your sales to new heights. Now, all of this branding can be very intimidating because you've never done it before. That's not your specialty. So I am a strong believer that outsourcing is smart. You're going to know your product best. People that do design and marketing and video content, that is what they specialize in. So it is important to feel comfortable enough to outsource this type of work to help get you the best result. For the first reason is you're going to get to work with experts in their fields. If you choose to work with a creative agency, you will already know they're an expert. Why? Because a lousy agency won't be able to operate for very long. Not because of word of mouth, because of lack of ability to show you their quality of work. Most creative agencies should be able to provide you a portfolio so that you can see the quality of their work before hiring them. If they can't, they are not doing a good job of helping you know that they're right for you. It is an interview when you hire a creative agency. You should be interviewing them like they're a potential employee, and they should be interviewing you. You want a relationship where they understand your business and your passion, and you understand that they've got your back. That's why experts are key into your success. Next, you're going to get high quality results in the same or even less time, and they're going to be what you want. If you take a do-it-yourself approach, sometimes because you've spread yourself so thin, you do that'll do, like you just settle versus actually getting what you really wanted. Because you're focused on doing those high value tasks that are actually going to push your business forward versus just hiring somebody that is good at that, they'll be able to provide you the content that's going to help you stand out amongst your competitors. Also, if you take the do-it-yourself approach, you probably don't know, but you have to learn so many programs to get everything cohesive across different platforms that you might get overwhelmed and just shove it to the back of mind anyway. And then you're missing a key way to engage with your ideal customers. Creative agencies hire experts and enough staff to be able to support your project on quick timelines. They're also going to be staying up to date on trends and new applications, so you're getting the best work possible for your business. With outsourcing, you're also able to focus on improving your business for your customers' needs. When you're not bogged down trying to design a logo, a website, your branding, staying regular on your social media, you have the time dedicate to address the customers and, more importantly, their needs that you're trying to solve. After all, your business number one goal is to solve that problem for your target audience. That's why your business exists and my business exists, to help you so you can take those things off your plate so that you can then continue to do what you do best. You also get to collaborate with people who have been there, done that, because agencies that have been around have probably worked on projects that are similar or know ways to apply what they've done to your business, which means that they can streamline the process, they can advise you, they can show you what works, how it worked, what didn't work, and why it didn't work. And I am a strong believer in, if you can't kill something if you're okay at it. Like, you can't nail it, you can't knock it out of the park if you're just okay at it because you're spread thin. You have to have people that really know what they're doing to help you knock things out of the park. I'm not saying that I'm a strong believer that everyone's creative, and I'm not saying that you couldn't do it. What I'm saying is that you won't have enough time to dedicate it to be what you envision, and by hiring someone to do it, you get that picture that you had in your head, that quality level that you wanted. It's their job to make that happen. And you get an outside perspective. This is something I am a huge proponent of, and something that I don't think people always consider. When you are in something 100% of the time, you become your own worst enemy. Sometimes it's worth taking a step back and having someone from the outside look at your business. It is invaluable information. They may be perceiving you or reading something completely different than you intended, and having that support and having a creative to be able to be honest with you and give you that feedback is something you will not regret in the future. It's likely you'll have an emotional attachment to your product, your company, your service, whereas hiring someone to support you in your marketing efforts, they're going to give you that unbiased recommendation and help you make decisions that's really going to benefit you. As I mentioned, small business and startups, they need fast and reliable growth. The way you're going to do that is, one, making sure you put your brand first and knowing that you're supported by agencies that know what they're doing and are here for you. Yes, you can do the do it yourself approach, but you may find in the long run you're struggling to meet your expectations that you really were hoping for. That's what I got. So that was really fast. But now we're open to questions. I'm gonna exit the screen sharing and then just jump on here and yeah.
Awesome. Thank you,
Really
Brittnie, for that
fast.
awesome presentation. There's nothing wrong with fast. So if you have a question, feel free to drop it in the chat box and we'll read it out loud. Or if you're comfortable unmuting yourself and asking that question out loud, you're more than welcome to do so. I've got a question, and I'll start it off while people drop their questions in the chat. Sometimes you see people, business owners or entrepreneurs, founders who really kind of, as a person, individually plugs themselves in as part of their brand. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think a founder is a part of their brand or can be?
I think they can be, but they have to remember that if they start at the beginning, it's something they'll have to continue through the lifetime of the business, because they become the expert. They represent the brand as much as the brand represents them. And if they're private, then that footing is not going to succeed. You have to be willing to be open and honest and transparent with your customers, especially today. Everyone's looking to connect with the companies they're working for, with the people they're talking with, and it can work. You see it. That's why brand influencers are doing such a good job right now of connecting with their clients. But you, as the business owner, have to be comfortable. Like, when you make that decision to be in the forefront of your company, you can't just all of a sudden not be, because it seems like a disconnect for your business model.
Anyone else with some questions? No, somebody's got to have some questions. Corey asks, do marketing companies usually broadcast across all social media companies, or is it usually charged on a per dollar basis? What tends to be the most used social channel?
That is definitely on a marketing company's, like, that's per agency. I like to do across, because I feel like you're going to get if you're not doing paid promotion and you're trying to get an organic growth in your social media marketing, it's better to take a mass approach and apply certain content to certain things. Like LinkedIn, you're going to be educational and it's going to be business related, whereas Instagram is visual. It's going to be picture related. It's got to be visually interesting. And then Facebook is going to be more video content. Well, let me step back. Instagram is integrating video, so don't completely not put video on Instagram. But Facebook is utilizing video better in a way that you're able to be educational and visual all at once. And then YouTube is also a visual video platform, and that's like for blogging, for communication, for showcasing the how-tos. So I think that you can utilize them in different ways. For charging, there's a lot of different ways different agencies can do it. One, they can do a creative retainer, which means that you're paying them a monthly fee and they're helping you through the whole thing every month, and they're helping you, and it's based on how much budget you have. One way they can do it is per hour. So they're tracking their hours and they're going to charge you a base fee every hour for whatever time they're doing. Some do packages. So they're like, oh, each month you'll get 4 Facebook posts, 2 Instagram posts, and it's going to cost you $500. That was a random number. Don't quote me. I don't even know if that's accurate off the top of my head. So don't go saying I heard this. But it just depends on what works for you. A lot of agencies are flexible, or if they're not, that's not one I would work with, because I feel like they're going to work with what your business needs, because each business has a different model and it needs to be customizable and collaborative to fit what your goals are, what your business goals are. What tends to be the most used social channel? Right now, I still see Facebook and Instagram at the forefront, unless you've had an established YouTube experience or channel. I see that it's a lot harder for people to break through. It's still possible, but you have to have really good high visual content, and I would look for a video content studio that specializes in that kind of stuff to break into there. I think you're seeing Instagram try to take TikTok out. So you're seeing the Instagram reels and you're seeing that head to head. So it'll be interesting to see over the next couple months if TikTok can survive here, and if Instagram will keep its spot in top 2. I think an underestimated social media platform is LinkedIn. I don't think there's a lot of people on it. So if you're looking to kind of try a new strategy and kind of reach those people, especially if you're business to business, that is one that is undervalued and underappreciated. And it's kind of like direct mailing. Everyone started direct mailing, so then people went to media. Now direct mail is you're not getting a lot of junk mail anymore. So if you actually send a mailer, someone's probably going to read it because they don't get that much. Well, it's the same with LinkedIn right now. I feel like there's a lot of people on Facebook and Instagram, and LinkedIn doesn't have that promo yet. So it's an opportunity to like get in there and kind of figure it out as LinkedIn's taking advantage of those times.
And Steve asked, which is a good segue from some of what you just mentioned. What kind of fee structure do you have? If someone had a fixed budget going in, do you have priorities of what you would do with them first?
Yeah, so I do free 30-minute consultings at the beginning when I first meet somebody. That gives me time to do some research on your business and kind of present a strategy of what I think could work best for you. I do creative retainers, and I also have an hourly fee for design work. I typically like to take a look, discuss with you, and set goals, and then apply either a retainer or an hourly fee that meets those goals best. And if you're on a limited budget, I typically will do something that will get you what you need at the best price, because I do love working with startups, and I feel like if they're willing to put a little in, they're going to get a lot out of a good creative agency partnership. As you grow, it's going to be invaluable for you guys.
I see your co-founder made an appearance behind you.
Yeah. He's back there. He's managing. He's my supervisor. Make sure that I'm staying on track to day.
Any more questions?
For those of you that are curious I know I mentioned briefly about branding, and it's not just a logo. And if you were curious what that is, what branding really means, branding is your personality as a company. It is not your logo. It's what people feel towards your brand. And if you're not consistent with that feeling, with that, like if you're trying to be credible, if you're trying to be emotional, if you're trying to be like if you're budget friendly, if you're supposed to be a cheap solution to things, like, and they think that you're too luxury, like your branding is not working for you. And it's never too late to refresh. Like if you feel like your look doesn't match where you're going, or where, like, it could have worked 5 years ago, but you don't think it's what is in line with what you're doing now, don't be afraid to refresh and refine, but keep the essence of who you were. And a good agency should be able to help you refine your message to be where you want to go. It's okay to say, I don't think it's working. How do I get to where it is working?
That's great. One thing, just to piggyback off that, one thing we've kind of touched on before is that, your brand is how you immediately make people feel, like when they see your brand. It's not just the logo, but that whole, it's what sticks in the back of somebody's mind when they think about you, how they feel immediately when they think about your company. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, it's your logo, it's your retail space, it's your box, it's your unboxing experience, it's the follow-up email that you sent, it's the follow-up video you sent after interacting with people, it's the experience they got when they walked in the door, how they parked at your business, if they were able to find parking, did your salesperson do okay, did they talk to you respectfully, it's the way people are dressed in your agency or your business. It's every little detail you can think is your brand. And if you're not sure if you're covering all of your details, that's another reason why you should have a creative at least do a review of your business, because we're going to see it differently than you are. We're going to take a fresh perspective to what you're doing day to day.
Not only is it a fresh set of eyes, like professionals like yourself have the understanding of having worked in this field longer and know what works and what doesn't. So somebody might be married to an idea because they think that that's what people want to see, but having worked with those as a professional in that field, you've seen that no, that doesn't actually work. That's failed with these other projects, or that didn't work with them, and you have that insight to kind of help there.
Yeah, exactly. I also feel like a good creative agency is not going to just tell you what's wrong with it. They're going to present you with the facts and give you the logic and the statistics on why this may not be working to help you change your perspective. It's not, oh, you're right and I'm wrong. It's, these are the facts. These are what I've observed, this is what's happening, these are the statistics, and this is how I think we can take these statistics and apply them to what you're doing. Because if it's purely emotional, it's hard to believe, it's hard to dispute what's actually fact and what's actual statistics. So I think that a good creative agency is going to show you those stats and help mold your perspective to something that you guys find is going to work for your business best. Because a good collaborator, a good partner in this is going to be someone where you guys find the best solution from both perspectives and that meets you guys in the middle.
Corey, yes, it seems content writing is in the bottleneck for me of taking the time to form out good thoughts and presenting those correctly as well as regularly. Would essentially the ultimate combo be a content writer and a company like yours married together with a common goal, or are y'all doing the content writing as well?
We do the content writing as well. Not all agencies do, but I really think content writing is a good copywriter, and I think that a good copywriter is someone that can relate to you. I think you have to interview them as much as to make sure that they write in the way you want to be heard. A good copywriter should be able to, but it still takes time to learn your business and make sure that they're presenting you the way you want to hear, and don't be afraid to be overcritical at the beginning as you're building that relationship. I'm making sure I answered the question. Company, you could do two things where you married my business with a copywriter. Most of the time, someone like me, I have a copywriter. I have a few copywriters that I love to work with and that I would recommend based on knowing your business, and that I feel would be a good collaborative effort between the three of us getting everything moving. And that is the kind of business I've established. So I am brand central for me. That's my expertise, is brand management and brand consistency across the board, and kind of playing project manager to the other aspects that you need for your brand. So if you came to me and you were like, I need an article written about XYZ and I need it with graphics, I would say, okay, what's the timeline? I give you a price and then I would get it done, and you wouldn't have to worry about finding all of those other pieces. Collab handles that for you, because we're your brand manager, and I'm going to make sure that it fits your thing before I even show it to you, so you can do thumbs up, thumbs down, and you're still rolling and going. That's the beauty of outsourcing. And if I don't feel like it's under my umbrella, I have built a network, an ecosystem of people that I feel are experts, and that I would meet with you, with them, to make sure that you're represented well and that they understand what we're trying to achieve with the art direction and the creative direction. So by hiring a collab, you're getting a creative department without paying the salary of 5 or 6 people to do what I can do. Does that make sense? Did I answer his question? I think so. No problem.
Great. Any more questions? All right. Well, I guess.
I put my digital business card at the beginning of the chat. If anyone did have any questions that they didn't get a chance to ask, or just wanted to meet one-on-one or get that free consulting of your business or your product or service, please don't hesitate to reach. Oh yeah, Caleb just reposted it for me. Thanks, Caleb. Feel free to reach out. I'd love to set up a one-on-one and give you that opportunity to at least hear what feedback I have and see if I can help in any way.
Awesome. And I will, what I'll do is I'm going to email everybody that signed up for this too. I will email the video. We're recording this. I'll email a copy of the video so that you can go back and review or share with colleagues. When I send this out to everyone, I will copy Brittnie in the email as well. So if you want to reach out to her directly, I'll make that, just put that there, if that's okay with you, Brittnie.
Yeah, that's completely fine. I'd love to hear from anyone that didn't get a chance to talk or have more questions. I would love to help in any way I can.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the presentation. It was fantastic. Thank you, everybody that participated and joined us today, and we'll see you at the next one. Everybody have a good evening.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.